Hey, what's up guys? Everything Apple Pro here. Today, procrastinating Phil is going to take a look at Powerbeats Pro and the iPod Touch 7th generation. So I've had these sitting on my desk for quite some time. Now it's time to take a look, and I've got more iOS 13 stuff for you on the way. This here is Apple's latest venture in the iPod Touch territory. A lot of people are asking why even bother at this point. It came too late, and the price certainly reflects the fact that not a lot of people are going to be buying this. In fact, who is even going to be buying it? Let's take a look. I got it in the product red edition. Obviously the coolest color has to be. And as soon as we're done with this one, it's going on that wall. So everybody that donated, thank you so much. Like, I'm filling in the pieces slowly. A lot of those are donated as well. So I do appreciate that, helping me fulfill my coffee shop dreams. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one first. And then we got the Powerbeats Pro. So these have been out for a while, but could they be a match made in heaven with the iPod Touch and iOS 13? I'm gonna install iOS 13 on this, see how it does. And here it is. So same sticker fashion. The iPod Touch basically started my Apple journey. This is where it all began for me when I held it in the palm of my hand, this magical device 10 years ago, basically, well, almost 10 years. And it was the most amazing moment of my life, I'd say. Just holding a supercomputer at the time. Nothing could do what the iPod Touch could do. The multi-touch, the accelerometer, jailbreak at the time was even magical. But okay, let's jump in here. So here's the, ooh, still satisfying, I guess. You flex the plastic to take it out. This is definitely not Apple. Like, they don't do plastic anymore, so I'm very surprised to see that here. This is to a good cause though, so some of the proceeds do go to HIV and AIDS programs. Very nice. This is like a felt. Oh, that's a new material. I've never seen Apple use that. Interesting. It's a cardboard, well, pressed paper. Otherwise, these are wired. Obviously, you're not getting AirPods with your new iPod Touch and the lightning cable. Okay, got some comparison bad boys here. Externally, nothing has changed. I mean, this is the same design they've had for years already, and there's no reason to invest any more money in a platform that really is not taking off anytime soon. I like that Apple has went through several variations here, one without the camera, one without the pinhole, little holder, and this tiny screen. I could never get used to a screen this small again. It's sure comfortable, but no way could I go backwards. Anyways, this is equivalent to the iPhone 7 in terms of speed, so you will not have any issues. You'll be able to run practically everything on the App Store. I mean, iOS 12 is perfect on this thing, but how will iOS 13 run? So I'm gonna run a Geekbench before on iOS 12, and then we're gonna jump into iOS 13 Beta 1 and see how much worse it got. I mean, this thing is quite cheap. For $200, you can get 32 gigabytes of storage. This thing still doesn't have a brightness sensor on the front, no Touch ID. It's bottom of the barrel, just scraping by. But for $200, you can honestly do worse. This would make a great gift for a kid, for someone that just needs to carry some music around but doesn't want to invest in a very expensive device. Maybe have it sitting in a car. Not a bad device for that at all. And with the Apple A10 processor entombed in this ancient hardware, you can practically run any application, any game from the App Store, so you shouldn't even worry about that. You're getting a lot for your money at $200, and whoever this may be for, it's a good value. Anyways, this is the star of the show here, the Powerbeats Pro. Let's take a look at this guy. So yeah, I didn't get this thing early. It's actually been sitting around for quite some time. Been trying to get my hands on it finally, and here we are. So this is equipped with the Apple H1. It's supposedly the superior version of Apple AirPods, and sound quality alone, sound isolation, it should be by all means. Okay, packaging is fairly cool, and wow, that's a chonker. That's huge. So it does have lightning on the back, which is nice. And it basically looks like a much larger version of AirPods, just opens horizontally here instead of vertically. Cool. To pair, keep in case. Let's see what it looks like on iOS 13. Have they updated anything? The animations. Okay, to me the animation looks good, unchanged from iOS 12. Thought that there might be some changes in iOS 13, but yeah, we'll do that later. There's that, looks good. All right, let's test these bad boys out. I actually do not really like sound isolating headphones, especially while doing something, just unaware of what's going on around you. I see the appeal, definitely. For the gym, these are sweat-proof. They have an IPX4 and already playing, very cool. There's that new volume HUD. Still getting used to iOS 13. It's definitely a lot to wrap your mind around. There are so many features, like Apple, chock full of them in all areas. All right, here's a good one to play. It's max volume. They're not very loud. I hope I'm not screaming. Ooh. To me, these are completely in a different league from AirPods. They're more punchy, more bass, sharper too, for sure. This is a precision tool for sound, obviously. Looks good, is functional. The case is kind of big, but I mean, not a problem, really. Compared to the AirPods, yeah, maybe not as portable, but still, you get a lot of functionality for the money. So I like the design. I'm sure there's nothing that I can add that hasn't been said already. Bit spendy at $250, but I see the appeal for sure. For gym-focused people, this is the one you want to get. Although I've never had an issue with AirPods. These have always treated me fairly well. I still can't believe it's 2019 and I'm using an iPod Touch. That's so cool. Like, I'm happy. Something within me is happy that Apple kept this around and we're going to be seeing the iPod lineup continue past 2019. Hopefully we'll eventually get to a full screen version, but I have zero confidence in that ever happening after seeing this. Apple is not trying to make any money on this device. I did just install iOS 13 on this. Seems to run fairly well, although there is an occasional stutter here and there. Let's try out that dark mode. I like that no matter which device you're on, you can have a dark mode. You get the new wallpapers as well. So there is a synchronicity between all devices here. Honestly, a great match. I feel like it's only because of this device that Apple made iOS 13 run on the iPhone SE as well. I feel like this wouldn't have even gotten it. But anyways, I did run a Geekbench on both. Here's the iPhone SE on iOS 13 and the iPod Touch. As you can see, they're pretty close here. Although the Touch is slightly higher in the single core score, multi-core score is higher as well. And if you actually look at the frequencies, it's 1.64 gigahertz, which makes no sense. I think the Geekbench may be off, just not updated for this device. It doesn't even know that it's running an A10. So we'll see what happens there, but you can see the performance is certainly there. It's faster than the iPhone SE, which is still to this day a very capable phone. It's still running iOS 13. Looking at this, they're pretty much the same device, just different skins. There's no cellular modem in here or any of that capability, but power-wise, just about the same. And it's very apparent why Apple kept around the iPhone SE for iOS 13, because if they didn't, then they couldn't release this device, and they have to keep them going support-wise. It's a bit strange to see such a small display in the iOS 13 lineup, but cool, I'm all for it. What else has changed? Just about nothing. The processor inside, the RAM amount, cameras are the same, flash is the same, the body is the same, everything is the same. The software is different, which is a nice touch at least, but physically it's the same device. Same cost saving measures everywhere. One thing I am concerned about is the Bluetooth. This has Bluetooth 4.1. So let's try it out with the Powerbeats Pro. I'm not confident in the range of this pretty much at all. iOS 13 on the iPod Touch for some reason stands out. On the smaller display, things are more fun, more rounded. The UI is very cool. All right, so I'm gonna leave the iPod Touch right here, and actually right there. And here we go, let's keep walking. So 20 feet, he's afraid of it. Are you serious? Started, first cutout right there, and 30 feet, okay. That's it, done. So if I step back this way, will it start playing again? He's starting to get adventurous, or she is. Wow, that is bad. Like, it's cutting out, stuttering, no good. That's Bluetooth 4.1 for you. So this is a device that's supposed to be taking advantage of Bluetooth 5.0. You're not getting that on the iPod Touch. No wonder, that's the culprit right there. Like, I'm 20, 25 feet away from the iPod, just started playing. Weird. Let me try that again. Cutting out, done. What? That is so bad. Bluetooth 4.1 for sure. So, okay. Maybe not a match made in heaven for sure. And the camera. No optical image stabilization, very apparent, unchanged from the last generation. That Bluetooth 4.1, that's a deal breaker for me. Not that this is a very expensive device, but how much would it cost to include Bluetooth 5.0 over 4.1? Terrible. And this car, 2020, I'm just, man, biggest goal of my life. We'll see what happens. And wanted to add this, iFixit did a not a teardown on the iPod Touch 7th generation this week. They found that inside it's a Jekyll and Hyde affair. Glue, soldering, just not a repairable device in any way. Very subtle changes from the other iPods, but they are there, as they did have to make the A10 fit somehow. So I'm gonna be tearing this one down. And the idea, if you're wondering about my teardowns, is at my coffee shop. Like, I want this all to be on display in the Pacific Northwest. So why not add this one to the wall? I'll add this one right here, straight away to the collection. Cool, and managed to fill those in eventually. And there it is, guys, the iPod Touch 7th generation. Even as a dedicated music device, I wouldn't say the Powerbeats Pro are at fault here. The Bluetooth 4.1 capability is a big deal breaker for me, so that's a no. Stay on the wall there. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the next iOS 13 video. Peace.